The night had settled softly over the coastal town of Avenmere, a place where the sea breathed slow and deep, as if it too were drifting toward dreams. The waves rolled in with a rhythm older than memory, brushing silver light across the sand. Above them, the stars shimmered like quiet thoughts scattered across the vast dark. Eleanor walked alone along the shore, her shoes in her hand, the cool sand molding gently beneath her bare feet. She had come here every evening since she was a child, to listen to the world fall asleep. Tonight the tide was low, the air sweet with salt, and the wind carried a voice that felt almost familiar. Life in Avenmere had always been simple. The fisherman rose before dawn. The old lighthouse keeper tended his lonely flame, and the town's single cafe closed at dusk. But Eleanor's heart had never been still. She was an artist who painted dreams, so she walked down the moonlit beach where she'd once chased fireflies, to the place where the rocks curled around a hidden cove. There, she found the sound she had been missing, the low hum of water beneath stone, a secret lullaby. She sat and closed her eyes. The sea whispered. At first it was only sound, the hush and pull, the eternal breath of water. But as she listened, words began to form, delicate and slow like mist over glass. Rest, the sea seemed to say. You are part of everything that moves and changes. You need not hold the world still. Eleanor smiled faintly. She had spent so long trying to control every brushstroke, every feeling, every uncertainty that had crept into her life. But now, with the vastness of the ocean before her, all of it seemed small, like scattered grains of sand slipping between her fingers. She leaned back, gazing at the stars. The sky was full of soft stories, constellations of long-forgotten loves, of quiet beginnings and graceful endings. Her breathing slowed to match the tide. In that moment, she realized that she didn't need to find peace. She simply needed to stop searching for it. The lighthouse keeper's grandson, tall, quiet, and thoughtful, with hands that smelled faintly of sea salt and oil. He carried a small lantern that painted warm light across the rocks. You're out late again, he said softly. I couldn't sleep, she replied. Then the sea's the best company, he smiled, sitting beside her. It doesn't ask questions. They sat in silence, listening to the hush of the world. Samuel's presence was calm, steady. She remembered the stories he used to tell, about the lighthouse, about storms that came and went, about how his grandfather said, every lightkeeper kept not just ships safe, but souls too. You ever think the sea remembers us? Eleanor asked after a while. I think it remembers everything, he said. It just never tells. The lantern flickered. The waves whispered on. Somewhere in the distance, a bell buoy rang a single soft note. As the night deepened, they spoke less and listened more, to the rhythm of the earth, to the small pulse of their hearts matching its flow. Samuel eventually dozed off, head tilted toward the sea, while Eleanor watched the stars shift slowly above the horizon. She thought of her empty canvas waiting at home. When morning came, she would paint this, not the sea itself, but its silence, its surrender. She would paint what it felt like to breathe again. The tide crept closer, gentle and unhurried, washing over her toes. She felt her eyes grow heavy, her thoughts floating like driftwood. The world seemed softer now, less a place of things to be solved, and more a lullaby of things simply being. In her half-dream, she saw light, the lantern's glow turning into dawn. She saw herself standing at her window, brush in hand, painting with calm, effortless strokes. The waves became colors. The wind became texture. Every sound of the ocean folded into her work until it was no longer painting. It was peace. Samuel stirred beside her, murmured something she couldn't quite hear, and fell quiet again. She smiled, letting the last fragments of wakefulness drift away. The stars swayed above the sleeping shore. The tide whispered again and again, "Rest, rest, rest," and at last Eleanor did.